Hello and welcome to my vvvv graphics tutorial. My name is Takuma Nakata. I'm an interaction designer based in Kyoto. And in today's tutorial, I'm gonna share how to play around with Slit Scan Effect inside vvvv beta. Slit Scan. So yeah, let's get started. So Slit Scan is a very this kind of effect. So you can actually get like a buffered texture and delayed, and you get sort of like, how do you say? I'm not sure how to say, but it's time-based delay effect, and it looks really cool. Right now, I think the value is too high, so I can lower it down, and then I can make it a bit more visible. So, like as you can see, my hand is like, how do you say, waveling? I don't know how to say this in English, and it looks pretty cool. And I can also, for example, change the way how it affects. For example, I just have this texture created, a grid texture, and then I can have like different areas having different time, and this is pretty easy. I mean, you just have to feed a texture and it's pretty easy, so I'm going to share how you work on that. So today we're going to be using this how does it plugin? Should we say a plugin? I mean, a shader. This is a really cool one made by Sebl, and it's super powerful. So we're going to be using this one. And so if you want to follow this, please download this. This doesn't have to be in the packs folder, so just put it in whatever you have your tutorial or today's patches. I have it inside, I'll just hide this navigation. So I just have it inside my tutorial series patches, and here I have name 32 Slit Scan. And if you download it, unzip it and put it in wherever you want, and there should be two different folders. So today we're gonna be looking how it works by browsing this ring buffer help node. Before that, let me explain a bit about Slit Scan. So if you want to know what kind of visual effects you can actually create via Slit Scan, well, Pinterest or Google image or whatever, just check it out. Like these kind of effects is what you can achieve by Slit Scan. And what it's basically doing, it's fading two textures, so the raw texture like the camera input or video texture or whatever, and then it has sort of like effect texture where we can control what kind of delay and which part you want to give and things like that. So I'm going to share how you control that. Okay, so let's get started. So first of all, what we're doing is I'll just close this one. I don't need this guy here as well. So then I'm going to open up the ring buffer help. So inside Slit Scan, there's Slit Scan, but it's inside the ring buffer help patch. I'm not sure what ring buffer is, but I think it's something very similar, or maybe the core technique that you need to know to understand what Slit Scan is happening. Anyways, this should be what you see when you open this up. I'll just move this guy here, and then I'll move the rest to the screen. Okay, so this should be what we get. This guy as well. So this should be all, when you open it up, this is what you should be seeing. However, maybe some of you might have problem with video in the default one, and if you have this problem, just double click it and get the right one. Like this video in DX11D show, the one that we've been using for our previous tutorial, should work on your machine. So then I have a camera, Microsoft Live Cam, on top of my desktop, so I'll just make sure that all the formats are correct. If you don't specify the right format on video in, it wouldn't work, and then make sure that you have the update on. So then I should see my camera input. Okay, then immediately we're already seeing a really cool effect, and I don't want this to be in full color, so I'm going to change it to black and white. My desk is not that clean. Then I'll reconnect these ones to here and there. Higher up the contrast. Okay, this looks better. Okay, I'm gonna keep it like this. And then yeah, if you don't have a camera or anything, just you can also connect the file stream, DX11 texture VLC, and then you can feed a video as well. It doesn't really matter what you feed. You can also create your own vvvv patch and connect the render here. It just has to be a texture. Okay, so let's see what it's doing. So this is the texture that I was telling you guys, like this is a noise sort of texture, so it makes a delay based on this texture. So if I go, for example, here, this part of the texture is a bit more black, and when it's more black, you don't really see the delay happening. Like there is a slightly delay happening, but you don't really see it. And then if you go up there, then delay gets more obvious. So let's check that out by changing. And he also has, in example, he also has a dynamic structure which looks like this. And this is more obvious. So if you go down here, I get less effect. But if I go up here, then you can actually see. So it's based on texture. You can give some sort of delay. So I'm gonna check that out by feeding different kind of textures. So I'm gonna delete these two. I'm gonna connect the texture input here. And then I'm going to connect render, so render MRT. And then I'll connect this texture input here. The resolution, I'll just keep it as a default, and I'll connect the full screen quad to see what's happening. Full screen quad, this one. Then I'll connect this one to render. So now I'm feeding a fully white texture, and I'm not seeing any single delay. But let's see what happens if I increase this one to a little bit like grayish. So I lower down the V. So if you see the left top visual, as you can see, it already has a delay. So the entire scene is already getting delay. And what if I get this one a little bit lower? Then the delay gets more obvious, it gets more slower. But if I go this one below, like, I don't know, black, or maybe pure black, then it loses the delay. So I think it's based on, like, I don't know, if it's gray then it's more delay, if it's white or black, I think it's about the contrast. So I'm not really like exactly sure how to explain this, but it's just based on texture you fade, it gets a different result. So for example, if I connect a Perlin noise, Perlin DX11 texture, I think this one. And then I'll connect this one to full screen quad. Then as you can see, I'm getting some sort of a delay, but it's based on Perlin noise, so it's very, very like detailed effect. And if I, for example, lower down the amplitude and then change a bit of frequency balance, or maybe amplitude a little bit higher, and then I'll make random seed, I'll change a bit. Okay, that changes it. So now, yeah, it's still a bit, yeah, how about this one? So now only several parts I get the effect. So if you want to give some sort of like effect on your visual, this slit scan effect is really cool. I think what it's basically doing is it's sort of like caching the previous texture. So it's sort of like doing the similar thing as like the previous tutorial, the texture arraying, arraying. Anyways. And it's storing the texture of a previous image, and then it's delaying based on the color of this texture right now. And for example, if we change this frame count, we can see an obvious difference as well. So I want to get this Perlin noise to a good amount. Right now it's a bit too hard to see. How's this? Okay, so now we got some sort of like delayed effect. Okay, this looks okay. Well, I think I'll bring back the one that we deleted. I think it was inside. Yeah, it was in our help patch and I deleted. And oh, it had the texture, right? So I'll bring back the delay mask. So yeah, so inside the folder there should be a delay mask. So I'm gonna bring this one back here, and then I'll create a file texture, and then I'll connect the delay mask from the slit scan plugin, and I'll connect this to the file texture here. And then I'll connect this one again here so that we can actually see what's happening. So I'll move this guy right here, and then I'll bring the delay mask here so that this delay mask is well designed. So as you can see now, the delay is quite obvious. But if we, for example, decrease this frame count to 64, that means it only has 64 frame caching, textures caching, so it gets a little bit less effect. If we go, for example, to 32, then we actually don't really see the effect happening. So this is the difference. So if you want to, for example, have an obvious texture like slit scan effect, increased frame count, for example, 512 would give you a really delayed visual texture, which looks pretty cool, but maybe this is too much, so I'll just keep it like, for example, 256. Then it's giving you this really nice texture, like Slit Scan Effect. So if you want, for example, to apply this to a human, then you just have to feed your video and then control the Slit Scan texture and to make it look like this. So yeah, this is basically like it, and there's several things that you can actually do. For example, what I do often for my project is I connect this blur to the video in, or maybe threshold. I connect this threshold to the video in, and then I apply a blur to it, and then I connect this one. Oh, I don't need this. Connect this one to preview just to see. So this is the texture that we're getting. I think the blur is a little bit high. Then the threshold smoothness could be something like this. I'll get this one a little bit higher. Okay, so then I connect this one to the input for the texture for the slit scan. What happens is that, and I think the frame count is too high to see the results, so I'll lower this one down. What it's doing is it's only giving you some sort of like delay around your hand. Like wherever it's white, you get more delay, but whenever it's black, you don't see the delay. So for example, if you have a dancer and if you want to some sort of like have more effects around the dancer, and if the dancer is wearing something white, then you can get more slit scan effect around your object. So this is the way I get that kind of effect working in vvvv, slit scan. So because I'm using the video in as a texture, as a noise texture for the slit scan, this makes it more easier to control where you actually want the slit scan effect to be more effective and where not. And of course, you can also blend the image together with the input, and then I'll connect this one here so that you can get some sort of like a little bit control, but not fully controlled. So then you can have more random effect. What I was doing for the opening video is I made a grid spread 2D, and then I connected a quad. Oh no, I connected a grid and then a constant, and then I connected this guy here, and then I added a translate transform, and then vector 2D split. So this one, just to make a chest pattern. I wish there was a chest pattern texture input as well, but I couldn't find it, so I'm just making it by my own. So I connect this one and then translate to here, and then I'll just have to preview this. So I'll make a preview node, dx11 preview node, and then I'll place this somewhere here. I'll connect this one. So right now it's fully white, and that's because I think the grid is too big. And then I'll also increase the grid to, like, for example, it could be 8, and then the size to 2, and then I'll connect linear spread, and then an RGB join, and then I'll just connect this one to RGB, and then connect this one to the constant, and change this one to let's say 6. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create a grid of like different colors. Maybe this could be a bit higher. Yeah, 6 is okay. Yeah, I like it when it was 6. Then I can higher up the values. Maybe I want this, and then once you've done creating your own texture, then you just have to connect it to here. And then now I have this grid chest pattern as a fade for the slit scan effect, and what it's doing, as you can see, gives you this delay based on the grid. So for example, if you want to animate a typography, then you might be feeding your typography animation as a video input and then apply the slit scan effect to it, and immediately you can get some sort of like delayed cool visual as well. So there's a lot of potential using this ring buffer or slit scan effect. And it's what's cool about this plugin made by sebl is that it's also like showing up how heavy it is, and like now it's using 150 megabytes, so it's okay. But if you increase this one to 150, then it increases to like 600 megabyte, which means it's getting more heavy and heavier. And I'm not sure if this is about the memory, but you can actually monitor how much of your computer you're using. And of course, this gets heavy and heavy if you cache more textures, so you have to be careful with that. And I think right now the resolution is this one. So this one is the resolution right now. It's stuck to 640 to 480. But if you increase this one to 100, like full HD, then of course it gets more heavier. So right now it's using 4 GB, which is quite a lot of my memory or something. And it is really. Wait, let me check that on my resource monitor. So it's using quite a lot. I'm not sure if it's my memory or if it's my CPU or my GPU. Anyways, it gets more heavier, so you just have to be careful. If it goes too high, then you might need to adjust the frame count or maybe adjust the texture so that it gives you a better result rather than just increasing the frame count. So but there's a lot of way you can actually tweak this. So yeah, I think it's really cool if you want to connect this one to something else. I mean, this part is not that important. What it's doing is based on the resolution from here. It's dividing the aspect ratio, so you don't really have to do this if you have, for example, an aspect ratio DX11 layer. Then you can just connect this one here, and you can just delete these guys, because yeah, this one is controlling the aspect ratio. Wait, is this right? Actually not. Anyways, yeah, I think that one was controlling, like taking care of that. If you control the aspect ratio here, then you make sure that your renderer is in a correct aspect ratio. But I mean, it could have been left. I had no reason to delete it actually, but I thought it's not necessary. But anyway, just keep it like that. So yeah, this is basically it. I mean, try feeding different colors, like try different videos. Like the video doesn't always has to be black and white. So for example, if you can also feed a very raw, like my raw video input here, and then you also get some sort of like cool effects. So try feeding different textures and see how this ring buffer slit scan effect from sebl works. And I think it's really cool. And this is one way that I apply my slit scan. And I also have my own slit scan effect written by my brother as well. But this one was really cool just to share. You guys, I think it's really well made, thanks to sebl. And yeah, that was it for today. And yeah, and also one thing to announce, I'm gonna be holding a webinar at Node Institute on August 21st, 2020, and 17 to 20 CET time. So in Pacific time, in Japanese time, it might be different. We're doing this online. I'll be sharing how to create this visual in 3 hours from scratch using FieldTrip and spline buffer and things like that. And I'm gonna be covering something that I haven't been able to share through my YouTube tutorial, because I'm trying to make my YouTube tutorial in 20 minutes. So if you're interested in joining that, I'll put the link below on the description. So please feel free to book it. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you next time.